Only thing better than a goblin at your side is, uh, lots of other things.
Slap the Gobblin. This is Gobblin. Nope, the other kind, with an apostrophe. There we go. Gobblin is an RPG setting and rulebook, all centered around goblins exploring a post-apocalyptic Earth. Gobblin is a project I've been working on for the last few years. It's now an RPG book that I've been hoping to have printed and published. With the help of the fans, the folks of Kickstarter, and some friends of the Junk and the Ugly, it's all been written up and playtested, and it feels and looks and smells ready to get into its final stages. The story of Gobblin starts in a generic fantasy world, but it takes place somewhere very different. See, goblins are horrible little guys. They're short-sighted, greedy, sneaky, and murderous, all on top of being really, really stupid. They breed like roaches and destroy any ecosystem they become a part of. It drove the other species of their world to decide to do something drastic. All the other races, good and evil, joined forces to cast a massive spell to banish the entire goblin species from their world forever. The goblins landed in the remains of a future Earth. Some massive catastrophe wiped humans off the map, leaving only mutated animals, battered machines, and ruined buildings behind. The goblins could hardly be happier. There were strange things to hunt. There were tall towers to explore, full of strange trinkets, devices, and treasures. There were no humans or elves here to tell them what to do, or to slay them, or to turn them into pawns for a cause they didn't care about. At last, they could kill and steal and eat and hide behind whatever they wanted. Which just about brings us up to speed for Gobblin. Gobblin takes place in a distant, alternate future where humans are essentially gone and goblins thrive on the remains of our society. After being at the bottom of the monster food chain, they've wound up with the only intelligent life left. Now is their chance to live happily in their treasure trove of loot among goblin-eating wolves, killer robots, mutant corn monsters, and their fellow goblins who just learned what guns and explosives do. Gobblin runs like a standard role-playing game for the most part, with a GM running a storyline for players who play as goblins. It runs on an original D12 system, a casual and amusing set of rules about characters fighting against their constant fear and paranoia, as much as they are fighting against actual monsters. Specialties include conventional ideas like the Brute or the Shaman, as well as stranger ones, like the Headrock, whose clan refused to use anything but headbutts in close combat, and the Pup, a young runt of a goblin that gets in everyone's way, but proves himself with spunk and spirit. Overall, the game does its best to be approachable, silly, and fun to read, all while encouraging players to be bold and creative. We want to bring you a game that encourages you to act proud and stupid enough to march to danger before panicking at the first sign of said danger, filling the room with shrill screams and frantic gunfire. And in best case, the goblins unwittingly save their world while wielding a sack of doorknobs and a magic wand that is actually a flamethrower. The goal of Kickstarter is not just to get the book printed and published, but illustrated and formatted into something classier than this. Oof. Yeah, nobody wants that. I've taken the time to create a ton of content for the book. It already includes the specialties, 100 goblin perks, a list of mutants and monsters, crazy gadgets for players to come across in the remains of human society, basic rules to make your own creatures, and a full adventure to start you off. It feels a shame not to give it the extra touch to make it go from something great to outstanding. I've played a lot of games and RPGs over the last decade or so, and I've put my heart into Gobblin to give it all my favorite things about them, so admit it to yourself. Nobody actually wants to be a goblin, but everyone wants to play as one, so climb out of your mudhole village, grab your weaponized potato gun, put on your t-shirt with a slogan that you can't even read, and join the rest of the goblins in going green.